Of course, he's our law enforcement expert. And, oh, Bruce, another day, another pursuit. How are you?
It must be Pursuit Day.
Yeah, it is. Pursuit Friday. Well, okay, this gentleman, we can call him a gentleman. He's wanted for domestic violence, but he's not really driving aggressively. He could be going up on the shoulder of that and to pass cars. So what do you make of this guy?
Well, at this point, his actions in driving is that erratic, out of, dangerous for the public and for the officers involved. But he is a domestic violence. We're going to make the assumption that's a felony crime, level 1, so they do want that. And the fact that the arms raise the seriousness to the officers.
I'm sorry, Bruce, our connection's a little bit bad. Could you repeat just that last sentence? Of course, you said he is a felony crime, but I didn't catch the last part.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ellen. Basically, you're chasing a felony suspect that's possibly in a felony-type domestic violence case, and the fact that he's possibly armed, the officers will now take undue caution to make sure that this is done by the numbers.
Okay. So how does that change the pursuit behavior on the officer's part? What do they need to change when someone's considered armed?
Well, all pursuits are different. In this case, they're treating this eventually as a felony suspect who's possibly armed, so they're going to conduct a felony stop and do it by the numbers as they're trained. It does raise the stakes as far as the number of officers involved in the pursuit because he isn't armed. You may see maybe 5 or 6 units traditionally in this.
Oh, okay. So you said there'll be more?
Yeah, typically in most pursuits, you'll have maybe 3 or 4 units, some for traffic control and peripheral things. But in this case, because he's possibly armed, you're going to have 5 or 6 units in addition to a supervisor to control the terminus of the pursuit.
I see. So apparently the authorities have been talking to the victim of this domestic violence suspect, and does that help to get some leverage? Perhaps they're using her to talk to him on the phone. How does that sort of negotiation work?
Well, typically, they're not going to want the victim to talk to the suspect just because there obviously is some bad blood or something transpired. But what they are trying to gather is information from the victim to determine if this is a level 1 domestic violence case, meaning a felony, or it's more of a misdemeanor. And is he really armed? Now, she may not tell the truth, but they're going to gather as much information like that.
Okay, that makes sense. So perhaps that gives them a little bit of at least a glance into the suspect's mind and what he's capable of.
Yeah, in this case, because they're on the freeway, CHP is going to chase them. I'm not sure who the originating agency is. I don't know if you have that information.
Apparently it was Placentia PD.
Okay, so Placentia, he's come from Orange County, so this has definitely gone a long way so far. If you look at the footage, CHP may be trying to do some sort of traffic break so that maybe they can do a pit maneuver. I don't know. The speeds are slow enough, and a freeway with wide lanes is an ideal area to do that.
That makes sense, especially with a big SUV like we're talking about now. Is that why the CHP deploys their SUV units as opposed to patrol cars?
Actually, just for information, the patrol cars are being phased out. There's only 2 agencies in the country that certify patrol vehicles. One is LA County Sheriff's, and one is Michigan State Police. And Ford, when they got rid of their Crown Vic, they went to the Ford Explorers. And so that is what the primary buying, car police agencies is.
Okay, I did not know that. Thank you for that. Well, now we see him driving on the shoulder. It looked like he was going to exit. I don't know if you're watching along with me, Bruce, but now he's in Culver City
it looks
area.
like he's over by possibly Jefferson. So it looks like we may be coming up on, well, it looks like he's past LAX airspace.
Yeah, and it looks, did he come to a stop under that? Oh, no, it looked like he was, it's just traffic. It's just normal traffic.
Normal LA Friday traffic.
Exactly. And, well, if it's been going on, for quite some time now, we don't know when it originated, but we could find out. I'm assuming this gas mileage is not great on this SUV, so that's another thing, at least perhaps in the favor of ending this sooner.
Yeah, it does have a bigger gas tank, though. That's the only downside.
Oh.
The other problem for law enforcement officers is this is a very big, heavy vehicle, and it definitely weighs more than the Explorers that the police agency is using. So to do a pit maneuver, that's going to take some real skill.
Okay, that makes sense, Bruce. And now he's passing the 90 freeway, and looks like he's getting over to the side of the road, but I guess it remains to be seen if he's going to exit or not. Just have to wait and see, I guess. I just saw another patrol car on the side of the road. Maybe they are trying to do some sort of break.
Yeah, with the traffic being heavy like it is, I can see CHP trying to control the ingress onto the freeway from the on-ramps, and maybe they're looking for some sort of operational area to do a pit maneuver or lay down spike strips.
Oh, okay. All right. That would be certainly effective in this place because he's going slow enough that they'd have time to lay down a spike strip.
Yeah, the problem with the spike strip is you need an operational area that is safe for the officers to do that. I've seen some pursuits in other jurisdictions where the officer's putting his or her life at risk to lay down a spike strip, and that's not ideal at all.
Yeah, I guess there's pros and cons to, which is safer for the officers on the freeway or surface streets. Definitely for pedestrians, it's safer on the freeways, but perhaps with the officers involved, it's a little more tricky.
Yeah, it looks like he's picking up speed a little bit, driving onto the right side of the freeway.
Yeah, it does. Almost like he's tentatively slowing down, then he speeds up, and, obviously somebody who's not sure which direction he might want to head.
Yeah, Ellen, the fact that this started in Placentia and now he's way north, typically the suspects will go back to an area they know. We have seen pursuits that they've drawn to areas that, are way out of the jurisdiction of where it started. But in this case, he just seems to be driving north.
Yeah, it's interesting you wonder sometimes what goes through their minds. And I would love to hear some of these interviews, the debriefs with some of these pursuit suspects and what they're thinking.
You bring that up, and it's very important having interviewed suspects involved in pursuits because that's part of the pursuit critique that we do as supervisors and put together a whole pursuit package. Some of them run just because they have warrants. Some have run because they don't have a driver's license or is suspended. I mean, the rational person is going to pull over and let the court sort it out. But none of these people are thinking in that rational vein.
Yeah, and I'm curious about the psychology behind it. When you've interviewed these suspects, do they think they can get away?
I think they believe they can, but ultimately they're not going to be able to. It looks like right now that CHP is really controlling traffic of all the lanes, so maybe they might try something.
Yeah. Now they're passing.
I know, Ellen, the last couple of pursuits we've covered, we've seen the police agencies be very, very aggressive with the pit maneuver and with ending the pursuits.
Yeah, I have noticed that too in recent pursuits. So maybe this will be the case in this pursuit. Certainly going right behind him, getting a little bit closer to the suspect.
The other thing, too, is all pursuits are governed by policies and procedures of each individual department and ultimately by the state of California peace officer standards and trainings. But I think the police agencies are getting very frustrated with these pursuits that sometimes are going on for as long as 3 hours. And the drain on the resources is just incredible.
Yeah, especially because it takes away from the other things that they might be needing to attend to, and it's kind of sad that so much manpower is concentrated on this one particular man.
Yeah, and it is a huge drain. You've got CHP that is now not able to police their freeways as they're handing it off to different CHP stations as they get into their jurisdiction, but it is a drain.
Right. Yeah. It's looks like he's speeding up a little bit, Bruce.
Yeah, he's speeding up traffic. I hate to say it, but for pursuits, it's light. For you and I, we're sitting in it.
Exactly. It always seems to be the way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Not that I want the police to chase me, but
Yeah. Yeah. That We don't want that.
No, I definitely don't want that.
So it looks like we are, I see that sign. Producer? Oh, okay, so we're getting to the 10 split near the 405, and we'll see what takes place now. I think part of the frustrating, still in West LA, and he'll be in West LA for a while at this rate of speed, but
Yeah.
Bruce will have to just see if he decides to get onto the 10 freeway or not.
Yeah, and whether he wants to go toward Santa Monica or he wants to go to downtown, I think either way it's going to be crowded.
Exactly. Yeah, especially like we were talking about Fridays. Well, now it looks like the freeway is really pretty cleared up, so perhaps they'll...
Yeah, I would think maybe they're requesting permission possibly to do a pit maneuver. The officer is still not that close, but the freeway is pretty wide open right now, which is a great operational area.
Yeah, well, now he's getting off at National, so looks like he's getting off the 405. Looks like he's really slowing down. Maybe he's contemplating giving up.
Yeah, I think he's getting off in what they call the Palms area by Culver City.
Okay. Can't see if does it look like his window is down? His driver, yeah, it looks like his driver's side window is down. He's come to a stop, but you could see his blinkers on.
Yeah.
He's using his blinkers. Does he really?
He's been on the phone for a while, possibly.
Yeah. It's on the phone, and it's interesting that he uses his blinkers when he's in a pursuit. Like that's not going to make much difference.
No, but it's one more traffic ticket they're not going to get.
All right, now he's going westbound.
He might be, I'm sorry, Ellen.
Oh, no,
he might be negotiating on the phone to try to resolve this.
That'd be interesting. Like now it looks like he might have gotten off the phone, or maybe he's holding it with his right hand. Hard to say.
Yeah, he's definitely on surface streets. His driving is not that fast yet, but he is weaving in and out of traffic.
Oh, yeah. Now he's National near Sawtelle, which is such a busy area. If you're just tuning in, you're watching a pursuit that's taking place that began in Placentia. This is a person that's wanted for for a felony domestic violence. Domestic violence. The victim says that this man is armed. They have not confirmed that, but the victim of the suspect says that he is armed. So now we have CHP in pursuit on the west side, and he got off the 405 freeway. Now he's on surface streets in Santa Monica, and it looks like he's...
The one thing we may see in the next few minutes is through mutual aid, CHP is talking to Santa Monica PD, maybe asking them if they would like to take the pursuit over. Obviously, it has to meet criteria for the pursuit.
What would that criteria be, Bruce?
One, that it is a crime that Santa Monica police could chase. In this case, a felony domestic violence, possibly armed suspect. So it meets the criteria, but that's one thing that the agency or the mutual aid agency would ask. What are you chasing and why?
Okay. Yeah, in this case, definitely a serious situation.
Yeah, his speed is definitely picked up as he's driving, and I know I've seen sheriff's airship overhead calling the pursuit for CHP, and ultimately, if Santa Monica, if it takes it over.
Okay, and now he's approaching Bundy. Looks like he is at a stop sign. Yeah. Yeah, when you stop, you're hoping he's stopping, but it's just he's just in traffic. Okay, now he's going northbound onto Bundy, and we'll just have to wait to see if Santa Monica PD takes over or joins in the pursuit.
Is he by the Santa Monica airport? I think he is.
I'm sorry?
It looks like he's near the Santa Monica airport, I think. Because he's in the Mar Vista area.
Okay. Yep, you're right. Absolutely right, Bruce.
So he's going to run into some heavy traffic as he heads up toward the Westwood area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that west side being so congested is probably one of the worst places to try to get around.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely running into traffic now.
Mm-hmm. We see the suspect's arm out the window. He's crossing Ocean Park right now. Window down.
So if he proceeds west, he's going to be right by Santa Monica Airport on the north end. If he goes straight, looks like he's now headed west.
Yeah, westbound on Ocean Park right now. Sure, a lot of people were heading to the beach today because it's such a warm day. I mean, this heat wave is beginning, and they definitely feel it. So I'm sure it's a little bit nicer on that side of town. All right, he's still on westbound Ocean Park and going through an intersection gingerly. To the CHP officers behind him still. I think there's a third one. So
if he continues, he's going to run into a lot of commercial property on Ocean toward the airport, and it looks like he's definitely headed that way.
Yeah, now we see 4 vehicles behind him in pursuit. Fortunately, traffic is light there, so you don't. My worry is always pedestrians, especially with a vehicle this size. It's just you don't see something like this coming.
Yeah, it looks like maybe as traffic has become lighter, he's picked up speed a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's hard to tell because bigger vehicles tend to look like they're driving faster.
Okay. Hey, Bruce, we're going to do a live cut-in for ABC7 in just about 50 seconds or so. But can you stand by? Do you mind? I'm sorry to disrupt your Friday afternoon.
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. We'll be doing that in just a couple minutes. I'm just going to read over my script right now. And 91 westbound, and he went to Artesia Boulevard, and the northbound 405. Exited that. He was in the Culver City area. Now he's in Santa Monica, and there are at least 4 CHP officers behind him. He is considered armed because the victim of the suspect told authorities that he is armed. We don't know that for sure, but that's what she told authorities. So they're treating the suspect as armed and dangerous. And Bruce Thomas is with me, of course, our law enforcement expert. And Bruce, he's still traveling, pretty quickly for a surface street, but it's continuing on the same as always.
Yeah, it looks like he's headed definitely towards Santa Monica as he's still on Ocean westbound. Looks like he's over maybe by 14th, 12th Street, somewhere over there. So he's definitely going to run into that congestion, and ultimately he's going to run into the ocean.
Yeah, and then you wonder, where's he going to go there? Because PCH, we know, is impossible to maneuver, and you really can't get far.
Yeah, like you said, PCH is crowded, and that's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm. and he's approaching Lincoln. And it's been a long time since I've been on the west side. I like to avoid it at all possible, just because of the traffic there. But I know this area particularly well, and it's so congested there. And right now it looks relatively good. I mean, like you said, it's always like a pursuit, and the traffic is light.
Yeah, you know, the fact that traffic's light is good for the safety of the public and the officers, and yeah, ultimately the suspect too.
Exactly, and he's going about 45 miles per hour on this street, which probably is pretty fast for a surface street like this. But we saw his window down, and looked like he was on the phone. And you mentioned, Bruce, perhaps they're negotiating with him on the phone. I'm sure they have his information to call him because they've talked to his victim.
Yeah, I would think the victim, upon being questioned by law enforcement, would provide all the necessary information to deal with this suspect. His name, phone number, where he lives, and they've already worked up some sort of criminal history on him to see what kind of suspect he really is. Yeah,
and now we just saw him drive on the wrong side of the road. This is Main Street, going through that intersection there. You see those scooter riders there on the street, and that's what worries me on the west side. There's a lot of pedestrians, a lot of bikers, and those scooter riders. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah, and also he is going to be coming up on the street promenade area too, with all pedestrians.
Oh, you just broke up a bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Again?
Oh, I said he's coming up on the 3rd Street promenade, which is full of pedestrians.
Oh yeah. Right now he's going southbound on Nielsen Way, but yeah, you can even see the marine layer there. That's how close to the beach they are now, and you're right. There's so many pedestrians and people out in the streets, and every tourist, and especially on a hot day, is going to go toward the beach in Santa Monica. And so that's a concern because this SUV is enormous and very heavy, and if he's desperate to get away, it puts people in danger, of course.
Yeah, and that's the main concern of law enforcement, is the fact that this can become so dangerous that it is just that dangerous.
Mm-hmm. It's approaching Rose, and wow, you could see that marine layer. I wish that would get toward us.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have double digits in the valley. Not that I'm taking over Dallas Range's top, but it's going to be very hot today.
Exactly. Yeah, he's going to be certainly talking about that this afternoon, because it's a heat wave that we're ready or not, it's coming. Right now he's in Venice, and as we know, those streets get a little more narrow, a little more crowded, and but continuing on. Those 2 main CHP officers behind it, and there's a 3rd and a 4th one as well. There's a guy on his phone taking videos. I mean, why you want video of a pursuit? When you're on your cell phone, he's kind of running along the sidewalk to try to get it. It's interesting.
Yeah, we live in that social media age.
We sure do. Now we're going to have a little bit of trouble just, through the buildings, but we're keeping an eye on him. And, of course, the CHP is right on his tail. So now, Bruce, he's on Pacific Avenue in Venice. And is it just a matter of, we'll just keep following this guy and keep our distance just to be safe?
Yeah, at this point, because they are on surface streets, I just think CHP is just going to hang back and just kind of let this play out, maybe not force the issue. I'm surprised maybe they haven't gone into surveillance mode and then flood the area with units to take this guy into custody when he ultimately stops.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes you'll say something and then it'll happen 10 minutes later, because obviously you've done this a few times.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't think he knows where he's going, and he's just kind of driving aimlessly.
Oh, he's going toward the beach.
But he's right now Venice now, so just to his right is the beach.
Oh, my gosh. Okay,
and that's where he's
Bruce,
headed.
This is awful. He's going toward a dead-end street with a bunch of people there in a giant SUV, and you kind of wonder, what is he thinking? But this is dangerous because...
Yeah, that is a dead-end street and butts right up against the walk and the bike path and Muscle Beach, that area.
Yeah, that's worrisome because this street is called Speedway, but it's anything but speedy. But there are so many people and pedestrians out, and that's worrisome.
Yeah, he's in an alley that's adjacent to some businesses there, and it's a very, very congested area.
Now, would this be a situation where they could definitely call like Venice PD or LAPD and have them put a spike strip so they know which direction he's going?
Possibly. I would think they've been in contact with LAPD since they are in the Venice area now in West LA. As far as laying down a spike strip, it's so congested that may not be a good idea, but you never. But also, looking at this guy's vehicle, it looks like he's living in the vehicle.
Yeah, I guess he's going southbound right now, and interesting place he chose.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think he knows where he's going.
So I guess he's going into the parking lot at Venice Beach. That's interesting.
So that's going to be kind of a dead end, one way in, one way out.
I know.
So now he's going to be cornered now.
And I hope that he surrenders peacefully, because sometimes if he's armed, you always have to kind of hope that he's not of the mind to do something.
Yeah, look, he's locked himself in now. Now we're going to see a felony, takedown.
Okay, well now he's got his hands up, and he's kind of facing the officers now with his hands up, and he's gesturing a bit. So
Yeah, he's definitely interesting. He's got no shoes on, no shirt. So at this point, they know he's not doing. But he is being agitated toward the officers, so they may have to end up pulling some less lethal beanbag rounds to take him down. It's not going to be compliant.
Yeah. And
the other problem is you have a lot of tourists here who don't speak English.
Right.
In this area.
Yeah, and a lot of people in that parking lot. I see a lot of officers approaching in between these cars. You see a man with a gun drawn. Another officer is trying to tell him, get down on the ground or whatever. He's just walking away, and now they're going to have to, get a little bit more aggressive with the man. I
think you're going to see a deployment of some less lethal here. I know CH has it deployed, and they're going to have to take him down. I don't know how closely you guys want to get in. But
and what's worrisome is that right behind him there are people, and there's looks like a food truck or some sort of thing there, RV, and lots of people in that area. So now the officers have to really be cautious of what they do. They don't want to get anybody hurt.
Yeah. The other thing, too, Ellen, looking at the suspect, and I don't know if he doesn't want to push in too close, but this guy is, as we say, ripped. He's muscular, and he's strong.
Yeah, and who knows what kind of... they just did They tased him?
Yeah, CHP has taser and less lethal deployed. LAPD is on scene also. He's agitated. They're going to take him down.
Yeah, good. It looks like they have their guy, Bruce.
Yeah, they're going to take him into custody. There's going to be no struggle because with the taser, you're incapacitated for about 8 or 10 seconds.
Okay, and it looks like they're on him. They're cuffing him. Yep. So thank goodness, because wow, that scared me when he was walking away from them and saw those people behind him, and it kind of, if he'd gone running or something, I guess. Yeah.
Ellen, just to put a footnote on this, the most important thing is they've taken the suspect into custody using minimal amount of force.
Yes, yes. Oh, Bruce, thank you so much. We really appreciate.
I'm going to go to work now.
Well, we really appreciate all the input you give us here at ABC7 and your expert advice and expertise on this whole situation, because it's always something different. This was definitely a different one, and it never ceases to amaze me how many different types of pursuits we see.
Yep. All right. Care. Have a good weekend.
Okay. You have a wonderful day, and I hope you get to enjoy your Friday, and let's hope for no more pursuits today.
You got it.
All right. You take care. All right, you're watching live pictures right now from Air 7 HD of this suspect taken into custody. He tried to make a kind of a run for it, so to speak, kind of just backing away, had an attitude, gesturing toward the officers, and they tased him, and now they have their suspect. Fortunately, this is ending at Venice Beach in the parking lot after a long pursuit that began in Placentia and went to 91 westbound, Artesia Boulevard, northbound 405, and then exactly ended up right here in Venice. Now you see a crowd gathering, watching the spectacle. But Fortunately, no injuries that we know of, and the suspect is taken into custody. So you can get the latest on ABC7.com and also on Eyewitness News at 3 o'clock. We'll see you then. Have a good afternoon.